met Elaine over 30 years ago when my oldest daughter, Elaine, started taking piano lessons, and I decided that I wanted to take piano lessons too. So I would go every week to Elaine's for my piano lesson, and of course I fell in love with Elaine, and we developed a strong friendship. We had a lot of piano parties. It was so much fun, and one particular night she was having a piano party, and we were there, my husband was there, and a lot of adults, and she wanted to have a soprano to sing, so my husband called his nephew, who was a soprano singer in Boston, and he came with his girlfriend, and it was his first date with his girlfriend, and now he's been married to her for like 30 years. So anyway, a few years later, I couldn't find her. She wasn't at the house. I couldn't find her in the phone book. I couldn't find any information about her, and I always felt kind of sad about it. Several years later, I was in Concord Center for the Arts. My nephew was conducting a symphony, and we came out to the, at the end of the performance, to the waiting room to leave, and there was Elaine. She had come up from Wakefield to see the performance, and turned out she had taken back her maiden name and was living in her mother's house right across the street from where her old house was. So we started taking piano lessons, and it's gone on from there. We've gone to symphonies together, we've gone out together for dinners, and she's very supportive and very kind. We've had things in both our lives that we needed to talk about to each other, and we always did. We always talked for at least an hour before the piano lessons, and I would say to her sometimes, we should have the piano lesson first, because then I get tired and I can't play. And then a day in March I went for my piano lesson, and I saw Jeff sitting at the kitchen table with her, and I just felt sick, because I know that Jeff was a very busy doctor in Minnesota, and for him to have been here, that this had to be serious, and it was very serious. The love that her boys gave her was just so overwhelming. I mean, they sent her to heaven with so much love that it's just amazing, and how they took care of her, and it's just so proud. And I thought if Elaine knew this, she would have got sick years ago just to have her boys with her, because she loved them so and she missed them so. She missed her grandchildren too, and I just miss her a lot. And I feel I have a very heavy heart. I feel like I've really, really lost a wonderful friend, and I didn't expect that this would happen. But I am going to continue to try to play my piano. Not that I'm any good, but I'm going to try. And I did say to Elaine before she died, I said, I wish I was a better student. And she said, you were an excellent student. But that's how she was. Anyway, I really miss you, Elaine.
One evening in 1985, I got a phone call from a woman named Elaine McAvoy telling me she lived at 5 Upland Road here in Wakefield in the very same house I had lived in as a new bride in the early 60s. She had 3 sons who loved to sing, and she knew that I sang in the Tanglewood chorus, and that her son Michael, of high school age, wanted to audition for this group. I talked her out of it because, as a boys' teacher, I feared he could easily strain his young boys trying to keep up with heavy lifting adult voices. Maybe I should bring him to you, she said, and booked him for a lesson. That was the beginning of a wonderful friendship with a woman who had lived in the same house as me and had 3 intelligent, musically sophisticated, talented sons who were all tenors. Tenors?
I don't know.
I often wondered what she fed them. What a force of nature she was when it came to encouraging and propelling Rob, Jeff, and Michael in the pursuit of their dreams and their gifts. She never discouraged them because it cost too much or was too difficult. On the contrary, she found ways to make it happen. As Michael once said to me at a lesson as we discussed life's difficulties, whenever I fell, my mother would just say, "Get up and keep going." In her last days, her 3 sons, Rob, a music teacher, Jeff, a pediatrician and internal medicine specialist, and Michael, a professional singer in Germany and Japan, took turns lovingly taking care of her and supporting her on her last trip when she could no longer keep going.
But the message from all the things that I've read, written to her in correspondence by the people, in little notes, is summed up for me when it comes to her three boys as this one letter that was written to Elsie by a friend of hers from, I believe, from Maine. But she was telling Elsie how happy she was that Elaine had had her third baby, Michael. There was just one line at one of the end of the paragraphs that struck me. But this one woman wrote to Elsie that she was sure that Elaine's boys would be fine because she knew Elaine. And we'll be fine.
I just loved Elaine being Elaine. You know, she was just, she was the greatest. You know, just, I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her a lot. You know, but I know she's up with good company because her and my mother right now are having a cup of coffee together. So that's a good thing.
Elaine is, she's so dear. So dear.
And she just taught us so much, and we really miss her. She didn't just teach us piano. She taught us so much more, and she was such a good friend.
I don't know, she just was so courageous and energetic and just a delight.
Elaine was delighted to have grandbabies. She was just thrilled when Jessica came along. They were truly two peas in a pod. The imaginative games, the roles that Grandma had to remember, in all of Jessica's complicated narratives about all the different story worlds that she was inventing when she was little, are phenomenal. Elaine used to complain to me, oh, I should name the name of a character, and she'd say, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be now, whether it's which one did what and who did, but she would totally give it her best shot. And she learned over time to work with the narratives and shift and change them and throw curveballs at Jessica and give her characters and characteristics that, you know, Jessica could not have known were coming. Elaine adored her other grandbabies. As they came along, she met them on their terms. That goes for parents too. And absolutely adored all of her grandbabies. The one thing I would like to tell all of them is, you may not remember your grandmother very much. Some of you may. Remember that she loved you, and that love cannot stop with you.